to provide grants to local individuals and community organizations. We have dollars to cover costs for house parties. If there's someone in your ward that would like to host 10 to 15 people and have a real conversation about vaccine hesitancy, why people are not taking the vaccine, to answer questions, to bring some of our doctors and nurses to answer these questions, we will pay them $200. We will also provide $1,000 to community influencers. And this can be like your management team presidents, your PTO presidents, your softball coaches, to meet with folks and again, educate and host an event. It can be a chat and chew. It can be a cookout. It can be a block party. We will cover some costs for that. We will also provide a $1,500 grant to local nonprofits that are willing to partner with us and do the same. Part of the requirements is that they organize folks to come out to the event, so they can canvas or they can phone bank to do the invites, to do some social media posting, and to really go out and maybe do some door knocking just to begin to educate the community. We will partner with, so Kelly Merrill is on the phone. We've partnered with Kelly Merrill today, and we're going to provide her funds to cover some costs for her event. These are the things that we've been provided dollars to do. We will, so say, Frank, if you say, Jackie, I want to do a vaccine clinic on one of your streets, Edgewood Avenue, and we want to do it in front of Troop School, we can do that. And we can bring an ice cream truck, or we can bring a food truck. So we have the dollars to do that. On top of that, we will cover the cost for you to robocall all the households in that area to let them know that you're doing the vaccine clinic, and we will do a mailer for you. We also have canvassers. So we're hiring canvassers. We're paying $23 an hour plus mileage. Our canvassers are not just for New Haven, so canvassers will need to travel. But we actually provide canvassers, and we provided canvassers for the clinic over the weekend. And we can provide canvassers for your community at any day of the week, 7 days a week. We're available to do this opportunity for you. I would like to get started in New Haven next week. I know Delphine has given me some dates. I think Bryant has some dates we need to lock in. Frank, I know you and I talked. We need to talk about dates, but we would like to be able to do this 7 days a week in New Haven from May until August. So 7 days a week, we would like to be in a neighborhood anywhere in the city of New Haven, partnering with you as the elected official or your management team or whatever organization you have identified for us to partner with, and ensuring that we're educating and getting the people in the community vaccinated. The vaccines will be done by Griffin Hospital. Right now, we are only doing the Moderna vaccine, 18 and up, simply because 16 to 16-year-olds need specific parental permission, as you all very well know. So we don't have a process in place for that, but we do the Moderna vaccine, and we will do the first and second shot. So say if you say, Jackie, I want to be here May 28th, and I want you to come back June 26th, 27th to the same place, we can do that. So we can offer the first and second shot. All right, questions, anyone?
Any questions?
Jackie.
Yes.
All the Wingate here.
Yes.
I know me and you talked about a couple of dates that's approaching fast. Could I reach out no later than Friday to give you a couple of more dates and spaces and times for we can set this up?
Absolutely, Brian. I mean, give me a call. You know, the good part is, like, I had someone call me. They're doing a grand opening for a sneaker store.
Okay.
We can pop up right there. right? And set up a tent and do his marketing and advertising and help him promote his business. So that's what we've been brought on to do, to kind of put that extra layer
Okay.
to make sure that the word is getting out. So I would encourage you guys to be creative. I know there's a lot of community events going on. We can tie into that. And I would ask that you book dates from next week all the way till the end of August.
No, thank you. Thank you for what you're doing for the community. It's greatly
Thank you.
appreciated.
Thank you.
Okay, please forgive me. I just looked over to my right and I see the hand that's up. Alder Edwards.
Yes, thank you, Madam Chair. Ms. James, what is the best way to contact you to set this up?
So I would say give me a call. My number is 203-676-9478. And I do want to say, Alder Edwards, that we will go to any street. So we will go to any street. Like, we could set up a vaccine on Star Street. We could set up a vaccine on Winchester. We could set it up anywhere. And we will canvass that area. And we will use your voice to do the robocall in your area to let your constituents know that we are there. And we will do a flyer for you, a mailer. But I need the dates ahead of time. So that's why I came to you guys. So like, if somebody says, well, I want you to do something on Monday, we can definitely do it. And I probably can do a robocall on Monday, but I won't be able to do a mailer, you know? So if you plan it, I can build it for you.
Okay, so it's let you know sooner rather than later. So
absolutely. And plan for, yes, from now until August. And if we go beyond August, I will come back to you and let you know that we have more dates available.
Thank you. That was my other question, but you had already answered that. So thank you very much. I have no further questions.
Okay, Alder Jeanette Morrison.
Hey, Jackie.
Hello.
Do you have like a flyer or anything that you can pass on to us through the chair, that because like that kind of information, especially when it comes to money, I don't like my interpretation. I like it coming straight from the person's mouth. So if you have a standard flyer that I can put out to my constituents, I have about 500 emails in my ward. We could get that information out, and with your contact information, because people are looking for jobs, but with COVID, you don't really see people. But people, they're looking for work. And
so I don't have a flyer for the jobs. And I can let me ask Grossman if they have a flyer for the jobs. They just asked me to mention that today. So that's not my department, but I will definitely check for you. Okay. All right.
And then the other piece is, I don't know, again, going back to standard communication, if you have like a standard flyer or something that maybe your organization uses to encourage people to come, to volunteer, to participate in like a canvas or something like that. I don't know, like if you guys have any meet and greets or anything that will encourage people to come together to be able to band and go in the community to knock on doors.
So we don't have that, Jeanette, because we pay our canvassers. So it would be a conflict for us to build a volunteer pool while we're paying canvassers. So that's why we rely on you guys, leadership, and other community stakeholders if they want to build a volunteer base to partner with our canvassers and go out. We can definitely do that, but we don't build a volunteer base because we pay our canvassers to get it done, right? So we don't have to rely on the volunteers. If you call me and say, Jackie, I want this done next week, it's easier for me to get my paid pool to do it versus organizing canvassers and calling through and, so we don't have that.
Okay. Well, Thank you. Like I said, well, I might end up calling you and getting some specific language so I can type up my own stuff. So just to get people encouraged. That's why I talked about the flyer or job something that will encourage people to contact you so they can get a job to participate in these events. But I will be reaching out to you too to work with us in Dixwell. So thank you.
You're welcome. I will forward the grant information to Al so that he can forward it to the chair and she can get it out to you. What I'm asking is that you not send it out to 500 people, only because there's no way I'll ever be able to respond to 500 people, but like strategically think of where you would like the clinic to be and what those partnerships can look like for you and your community, right? And it can be a church, it can be a small business, it can be your management teams, it can be your block watches, it can be certain organizations like that you can go to and say, you know, I want to do a clinic on this street. You know, you have an opportunity to get this grant if you help us organize it, right? And their role really would be to get some volunteers, right, and help with the lit drop. That would be their role, to promote it on social media, to do some phone banking, right, because they know people in their community that they can call and say, you know, Elaine, we're doing a clinic over here. Do you know 5 or 6 people in the community you can call? So it's that level of communication that we're trying to get. We're trying to get very grassroots and granular with this so that we can ensure that at least the people in all of your communities have access to the vaccine, right? We believe people should be able to walk out their door and get vaccinated. It should be that easy. And we can make it that easy by, I can cover 30 wards in a month, right? I can have one starting next week. I can have one in every ward, right? I just need you guys to give me the dates, times. Well, give me the dates and places. It's 10 to 6. We'll be there all day. They cannot ask for ID. They should not be asking for ID. We had some issues with that in Jill's ward last week when we did a clinic. They were asking for ID and people walked away. There's no ID required. There's no medical insurance required. And we have to reiterate that to the people doing the vaccine. You cannot ask people in our community for ID. They should not be doing that. All right.
Alderman Morrison, are you finished? Because I wanted to say
Yes,
something,
I'm all set.
but I wanted you to finish.
Thank you, Jackie.
Okay.
You're welcome, dear.
Yeah, because I remember, is it still, Jackie, that they could go online, the ones who want to work and do the application online that want to work with you?
Yes, they can go to grossmansolutions.com. I can forward you that, Delphine. I can actually text
forward
it
to Al.
Yeah, I can
Okay.
forward that to Al. And there's a website that they can actually go to, and it's called the Connecticut Vaccine Campaign. And there's a lot of jobs they can apply for. They're looking for a supervisor, a campaign supervisor, for a canvas supervisor for New Haven. They're looking for canvassers. They're looking for operations people. So there's a lot of positions that they are trying to fill throughout the state of Connecticut. So it's Grossman Solutions. Yeah, it's grossmansolutions.com.
Just send
That's
it
where
to
they can go,
Al.
Jeanette.
Yeah. Okay. And because I know a couple of people in my ward already told me they got hired, got called when they went online. Thank you. Next, okay. Next is Alder Frank Douglas, and then Alder Rodriguez and Alder C.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Hi, Jackie. How are you?
I'm well.
I did hear you say something about a tent. And I know previously we spoke, and the requirements was to have it. We had to have it held inside. So that's off the table now. We can have it outside?
So you can do it inside now or outside. Yes, we have been approved. And again, things have to go through a process. So we have been approved to do outdoor events, and you're more than welcome. If you have a church that has space, we can use their indoor space, or we can set them up outside.
Okay. And you did say we could hold the event at a small business also, right?
Yeah, if they have a parking lot, or if we can park in front of the business, if there's enough space parking, right? We don't want to create any barriers, right? So we don't want to block residents from parking. We don't want to cause any have any safety issues or anything like that. But if there's adequate space to park, absolutely, we can do it at McDonald's parking lot, right? I don't know whose ward McDonald's and Burger King's is in, but we can do something with them and give out cheeseburgers, right? Buy 300 cheeseburgers and give them out, right? We have the ability to be flexible and creative. We can do something at Popeyes. We can do something at Stop and Shop. You can give Dunkin' Donuts gift cards away. There's a lot of things that we can do in this partnership with you. The thing that we ask is that if we do that, if we make the investment, it has to be an investment from you, right? That's going out, ensuring that your ward is aware of this and encouraging people to come out, right? So we did one in Alder Rodriguez's ward last Monday. That was my first one. And it was, we had 4 days, we went out, we canvassed, we had over 100 people come out and get vaccines, which was amazing.
Right. Okay. All right. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Wow, nice.
Oh, great. Alder Rodriguez and Alder Singh, I see.
The
Alder
one,
Evelyn Rodriguez, please forgive me.
the one on Congress Avenue that you did, they offered the Pfizer vaccine. Why the Moderna, and why
Now,
not the option?
The one we did at Ron Hertz Church,
Yes,
that was Moderna.
Moderna?
That was Moderna. We only do Moderna. Yep.
Okay, why only Moderna?
Because so we are we're in partnership with DPH and Griffin, and that is what Griffin initially started off with. They didn't have the approval for Pfizer and Johnson & Johnson. However, we believe in the coming weeks, we will have access to that because one, we have to, the doors have opened for us to vaccinate the 16-year-olds. Now we're down to 12, right? So so they have to figure out, what areas it work in, right? So you would think like on the New Haven Green, where there is a lot of homeless people that gather, you would want to give them the Johnson & Johnson, right? Because the probability of coming back for a second one is probably 0. And that's the same thing for the youth, right? So 12 to 16, 17, you probably want to give them the Johnson & Johnson. So we have to figure that out. Part of it is we can only store but so much on our units, right? Because they have to be kept at a certain temperature. You can't. So it's part of figuring that out. And they were able to figure it out with Moderna. Now they're trying to figure out with the Pfizer and Johnson & Johnson.
Okay, thank you. And when you do the vaccine clinic, do you also cover home base?
We don't do home base. The health department, Marissa Bond does home base. We don't do home base.
Okay, and what if they are undocumented?
We don't ask for ID. That's irrelevant to us, honestly. And if you ever have any problem with any of the clinics asking for ID, please call me personally.
Okay, I'm interested, and I'm specifically interested in doing bilingual ones.
Thank you.
So I will be calling you tomorrow. Thank you, Jackie.
You're welcome. And we would love to have you on a robocall doing a Spanish and English robocall.
That's nice.
Okay. So I will, once you give me your dates, I will make sure that we take care of that for you, for all of you.
Thank you very much.
And we may want to use you to do some Spanish robocalls also in some of the other communities. Okay.
Well, I will do my best.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, Alder Singh.
Thank you, Madam Chair, and thank you, Ms. James, for coming out and bringing this information to us. One, on the outdoor, if one choose to do an outdoor, like at a place where there ample place to set up, do you provide the tent, the hardware to do that?
We do. We provide tables, chairs, everything. Absolutely.
Okay.
We just need you to help us get the people there.
Right. Secondly, what leads then, because if we're gonna do this, like flyers and inform the community, the neighborhood, the people who are trying to get inoculated, the vaccine, what's the time span we need so we can get flyers out in our hands to pass up? What's the turnaround time?
So
let's say you're planning a Saturday, how early you need to get that information date, then we can have flyers made out for that neighborhood.
So saying, if you want to do one next Saturday, I will promise you today that if you give me a place tomorrow, I will have everything in place for you.
Okay, thank you.
All right.
Thank you, Madam Chair.
You wait, you guys know, how I operate. I get it done, right? I will make sure that they are fair to the people in our community and that we get it done, period, right? So if you give me something that you need done, I will get it done for you. I am asking you to please give me dates and times, even if it's 4 days in a month of June, 4 in July, and 4 in August. I am fine with that. We have to ensure that we get the information out, that we get the clinics out, and that the money we have to market and pay our canvassers, we have a time limit to do all that. And our time limit is August. Our expiration is August.
I think you got me thinking of the McDonald's, the cheeseburgers.
Absolutely.
I think you got me thinking.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay. Okay, I see you, Alder Evelyn Rodriguez. Hold on 1 minute. One more thing for Jackie now to help us. You said that you set up the robocalls, right?
Yes.
And you will have your paid canvassers on the doors.
Yes.
Okay. All right. Very good. So, would we need flyers with that, with the robocall, that we will be, our constituents would hear us asking them to come out or telling them about the event, and then your canvassers would be canvassed in that area that day for us?
Yes. Yes.
Oh, okay. All right. I seen Alder Frank Douglas. He had his hand up over. Frank, did you still need to say anything, Alder Douglas? If not,
No, I'm all set. Thank you.
Okay.
Alder Evelyn Rodriguez.
Okay, in some of the locations that might not be usual locations, like maybe a store or something like that, they may need the testing done. Can you do, or is it feasible to do testing and vaccine, or no?
No, we're just doing vaccine. We're not doing
Just
testing.
vaccine. Okay.
Yes.
So if there is somebody that is not well with the symptoms, do you still do the vaccine?
So if someone's not feeling well,
Mm-hmm.
well, the nurses will ask them the questions, right? So they
Okay.
will be right. So the nurse, right? They take the temperature, they ask the question. Yeah. So the nurses, yeah, they're done by certified registered nurses. So they will be asked.
They will take care of that.
Exactly. Yes.
Okay, good. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Okay. Any more questions for Jackie James? If not, Jackie, I would like to say, we want to say thank you for coming to help us to make sure that our constituents get vaccinated. So we want to thank you so much for your time with us tonight.
No, thank you. And I look forward to working with each and every one of you. If Al or you, Alder Clyburn, can actually send this out and ensure that the rest of the Board of Aldermen have this information so that we can, again, it's important that we cover the entire city. So I look forward to hearing from everyone. All right. And you can pass on my cell phone number and just have them call me.
Okay. I'll make sure that when you send the information, Al will send to all the alders.
Okay,
And we'll make
perfect,
sure your phone number is on it as well, on the information.
perfect. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. All right. We're going to go on to next item we'll talk about is our Juneteenth, which is June the 18th. And Miss Kelly is here from the Regiment 29. Miss Kelly, would you like to speak with us now?
Yes, please. Thank you so much. So this year, Juneteenth is a 2-day event. We're doing something a little different. So the first day is Friday, June 18th. It's going to be from 6 o'clock to 8 o'clock. And it's planned to be a virtual event. And it's totally focused on what reparations might look like in New Haven. We partnered with Amistad for the first day, and we're getting support for the virtual event through the IT department at Yale University. The goal of the conversation is to serve as an introduction to what reparations is and what reparative justice could look like in New Haven. So to do all this, what we did is we invited community members who currently serve as leaders, right, in criminal justice, education, finance, housing, and mental health, the big facets of reparations. And it will lead into the Juneteenth Festival for this year, but this conversation is broad, and we're hopeful. The plan is to extend the conversation for reparations into the 2021-22 year. Our panel has agreed to stay on, and we will do virtual quarterly conversations that, of course, will start out very broad, but then the goal is to narrow them down so that they promote empowerment in each one of the areas in the Black community, but then scaffold. So they're going to build on one another, which really could result in a collective contribution toward community enhancement. So that's Friday, June 18th, and that will be ongoing for at least a year. The actual Juneteenth Festival, though, the one that we do every year, is going to be Saturday, June 19th from 12 to 5. We're planning it to be COVID careful. It will be in an outdoor space at the CT Violence Intervention Program on Ashman Street. So what we're doing this year is we're bringing education and cultural activities into one spot. So we have partners from all over the city. This year we have Yale New Haven Hospital and Howard K. Hill and the new director of Arts and Ideas, Malachi Enos. I can't remember everybody, but we have folks coming from all over the city and to be in one place at one time to promote kinship and collaboration. We also, at the same time, will have live stream conversations that will be airing on the New Haven Independent. And those will be topics that are near and dear to all of us, right? So the history of Juneteenth. We have a retired Black officer covering white policing and Black communities. We're covering mental health, all the heavy topics that are important and sometimes aren't always talked about, right, until something happens. And then we lighten the day up with performances for African drumming and dance and music and some vendors. So what we're hopeful for is that these 2 days will really result in collective, like community contributions and enhancements. And, I come every year and I ask to partner with the caucus, and you guys have always been very nice to me. And I just wanted to make you aware of this event and ask, that we include you on our flyer, which we're preparing now. We'll be ready by Friday. And just want to know if we can put you down as a partner. That's it.
Okay, we'll let you know. First of all, I would like, if we're finished, I would like to see my colleagues have any questions or comments.
Okay.
Are you finished with the information?
Yes, I am.
Okay, I
Thank
see Alder Morrison. Alder Morrison will be speaking
Yes,
with you.
so I just, it's a comment and a question. The comment
Okay.
is that's a wonderful idea. Anytime we can collaborate, bring everyone together. I always look at the one-stop shops. Sending out the same kind of message is always a great thing. So in regards to your ask of noting us down as a partner, what would that include? Would that just literally include putting our name on your flyer, or does that include us making a donation, us having a table out? What does that look like in regards to the ask?
Well, I originally was speaking with Mr. Lucas and asking for a donation of $300. And I understand that with COVID, that isn't possible for this year. But I would like to put your name on our flyer as a partner, but then also ask that you support us throughout the quarterly conversations by attending some of the all of the community conversations focused on reparations are planned to be virtual, no matter if COVID lifts or not, just to keep it consistent. Asking that you please, or one of you, please attend those conversations. The keynote for those, all of them, is Dr. Philip Goff from Afro-American Studies at Yale. And the panel will never change, will always be leaders. We really think that your involvement and your participation with us might, one, engage the community, right? So all of your, the different communities that you represent, because ultimately we want the community involved in these conversations because it's about them and for them. So we want as many voices from the community as possible there, and we need your help to do that. So we're hopeful that you guys, or one of you, would please support us that way. But I never ever thought to ask for you to support the Juneteenth event with a table. So if that's something that you do, we would love, love, love to extend that invitation to you to, yes, please come out and join us. Sometimes you guys are there, or some of you are there, and that's nice to see. So please, yes.
Well, I just was given a whole lot of examples. We don't have no table unless we did a voter's registration or something like that. And I don't know what the schedules of the alders are, but I just wanted to get an idea. And so lastly, Chair, just a follow-up to your response. When you say you want us to participate, first of all, how often are these community conversations? And then when you ask us to participate, are you expecting us just to be an attendee, or are you asking someone from this group to be on the panel, a part of the panel discussion?
So I'm asking, okay, so let me back up. The quarterly conversations will be 3 times a year. So we have this first one coming up in June, and then the next one wouldn't be until September. I think it's September 16th, and I don't know all the dates moving out, but we have September, December, March, and then of course next June, where we all come together. The first discussion is actually set up where the panel would speak about each of their focus areas, so the housing, the education, the finance, and of course the keynote. And then there would be an opportunity for a community discussion, right, afterwards. So I think it would be really powerful to have your voices there during the conversation piece. And yes, moving forward, I would like to come back and ask of your availability. We only need one person, but I would like to come back and ask of your availability to participate in the panel as a member of the panel as we begin to narrow down our topics and focus on our goals for the year. So that would be the September date, the September 16th date that I would like, or December, to come back and ask that somebody participate.
Okay.
Okay, thank
Is that
you, Madam Chair. And thank you very much, Ms. Kelly.
You're welcome.
Anyone else have any questions or comments for Ms. Kelly? Okay, if not, Ms. Kelly, you send that information to Al, and we will let you know what we will do.
Thank you
being
so
a
much.
part.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Thank you so much. Yes, and thank you for your support. It's been 5 years, and every year I come, and you all are very supportive. Thank you very much.
All right. Thank you for your time and being with us
Bye. Thank
okay,
you.
bye-bye.
Bye.
All right. Bye-bye. The next thing we had on our agenda that we really wanted to talk about was CASEL program. Mr. Mike Svitelli, he was going to try to join us about 7, but I'm going to tell you why I asked him to come. Is because there was a young lady in my ward, which I didn't know her. She said she was in a ward for 3 years. Her job is a CNA, and her client was COVID COVID-19 positive. So she had to be taking, they had to tell her she could not work. When she went to be tested, she found out that she had some underlying problems that she had to really should not go back. So she went to the CASEL program and went through all the application, whatever they had to do. And when it got to the point, she was good until it got to the point that she owed back taxes, car taxes, and because of that, she could not get her help for her rent. So I felt that was unfair. I reached out to a couple of the alders. I called Olivia to ask her, Olivia, who is the director now of LCI. I asked Olivia, did these regs about getting this money, did it come from them or the government? She said it came from LCI. They put these in place. I said, that's unfair because, at this time, even this money was given to help people with their rents if they could not pay them for any COVID situation. So I told them that was unfair for them not to assist this lady. Even her landlord called me and told me that she is a woman who has kept up with her rent, but she just didn't know how to advocate for herself in our city to find out about the services. So someone from LCI told this lady to get in touch with me because she was in my ward. And that's how I got into this. And I felt like it was unfair. I wanted to see what you all thought about it. I understand they have regulations on the different programs like the ERAP program, the RAD program, different programs they have that people cannot get the services, the money, unless if they have any back taxes on their house or vehicle. So I just felt like at this point, they should not hold that against the people that is really in need for this COVID money. So what do you all think about that? And that's why I was asking Mr. Michael Pasquatelli to come to talk with us. Okay, I see the hand of Alder Rodriguez and Alder Evelyn Rodriguez and Alder Wingate. Okay, you can go, Alder Rodriguez. Alder, you can go, Carmen Rodriguez.
Alder and Madam Chair, I will let Alder Wingate go first because he did have his hand up first, and then I will follow. Thank you.
Okay.
No, Madam Chair, I most definitely yield to Alder Carmen Rodriguez.
Well, thank you.
I know he would.
Thank you so much, Alder Wingate. And Madam Chair, I hear what you're saying, and we need to get more content in this matter due to the fact that there are, many of us are faced with this in our community, but we need to see what the rules and regulations are, because there are specific programs that, you know, although someone is in a tough situation, we have to ensure that we follow the protocols that to be put in place. And so I'd like to see what those rules are so that we are not breaking any state or federal guidelines, if I may. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Yeah. Alder Wingate.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I see it a little differently in reference to this council program, because I was talking to Michael early when this came about, because from my understanding, this was federal dollars that came through, and the city was administering the dollars. And you know, just for a point of reference, it's hard to pay your taxes when you don't have a job, right? So you know, we have to look at it like that, because if you lose your pay, and you know, it's twofold. You know what I'm saying? You can't pay your taxes, you can't pay your bills, you can't pay your rent. That's why the council program, I thought, was developed, and you had to go through this process, right? So it's true. We need to get more to my colleagues, Alder Carmen Rodriguez. We need to get some more information. But at the same time, I remember when this council program came about, it was saying, listen, if you was behind in your rent, if you wasn't able to collect unemployment, because those are one of those pieces, from my understanding, and it showed that you had a job, you know, unemployment. The council program went to the landlord. It went to the landlord. Their money would go to the landlord so you could be covered. That's when they had no the moratorium covering the renters. So I'm Madam Chair, I'm confused by the denial.
Mm-hmm. Well, you know, okay, I see you, Alder Evelyn Rodriguez. I just wanted to answer Alder Wingate. But, you know, Alder Wingate, this is the only thing I'm saying. I am seeking more understanding, because I did call director of LCI. I get a chance to call Mrs. Kathy Schroeder or talk to Michael Presbitelli. The only thing I'm saying, you know, our people were already in situations before COVID hit here. And this money was to help the people who is in need. So they are getting this money, and we're really not, to me, helping people who really need it because of taxes. I don't think we should hold that. That should not be a regulation to hold against them for getting the help in time of this crisis. That's all I would say.
Madam Chair.
I'm seeking for understanding too.
Madam Chair.
But this is a crisis that people are in. Yes.
And so I think that we are the choir, right? And Michael is the director that would be able to direct us. And so I think that
Right, I know that, but I
right
just want to
now
see
it's a mute point to even really talk about it because of the fact that he's not here to answer any of those questions. And so the questions kind of just make us all sit here like, I don't know, you know.
Well, I want to know if somebody in their area have come across this, who someone, I'm sure the other alders have had some other constituents. I just want to know what's happening among us. Have we heard this among our people? That's why I'm talking about it. Among
is this a part of new business? I'm sorry. Is this a part of new business? Is this a part of new business? I'm just a little confused. Oh, okay. I didn't see that. I didn't see that on the agenda. I'm sorry.
Oh, okay. Alder Rodriguez, I believe she had her hand up. If it wasn't Evelyn Rodriguez, it was Alder Kim Edwards. Alder Kim Edwards.
Alder.
I see your hand.
Yes. I think Alder Wingate and Alder Rodriguez hit some of this on the head for me. Before, I have not encountered it in my area. And I do think maybe we need more information on the program, the programming, the fine print, before I would be able to answer to say I don't think it's fair or not fair. I'm just going to be totally honest. I think this would be, if you're going to follow up on this, I think an email with the total explanation of the program and maybe a scenario would probably serve us better, because then we can also get input from the people that are not here tonight, because it could be a little more widespread than we know. But I think it might be helpful to get more information out before we have a total discussion on it, because of the fact that Mr. Piscatelli isn't here. And that's it. I have no further questions or comments.
Yeah. Well, just whether, you know, for me, if this money was brought here for helping people, I'm ready, you know, they need the help. So, you know, that's why I reached out to LCI and everybody else. But hopefully he still will come on tonight to give us some insight. So Evelyn Rodriguez wants to say something.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I just want to share that the concerns of my colleagues are duly noted. They're significant. And I do hear your concern in that right now, due to the pandemic, or the great need that exists regarding protecting the roof over the heads of our families. And that's so significant, and it is very important. And rightfully so, there are these programs come with certain requirements. However, it may merit, once we hear from Mr. Piscatelli, if in fact there are these stringent criterias for them to obtain and receive these helps to help them keep the roof over their heads for their families, that maybe we may be able to do something. We won't know what we can do until we hear from Mr. Piscatelli, and of course review the program and its initiatives, its goals, and for who it is. So thank you very much for surfacing that concern.
Okay. All right. Okay,
Madam
well,
Chair?
we'll move on. No one else?
Madam Chair?
Yes? Yes.
This is Alder Crespo, if I may.
Alder Fresco. Yes.
Thank you. I just wanted to pretty much add or be in consistent and uniformed opinion, like Madam President Pro Tem stated, and my former colleagues that they've indicated. This is a subjective conversation at this point. In order for us to have an objective conversation, I think Piscatelli has to just be present and provide us with the details so that we can be able to engage in a more thorough and a conversation that has facts. We certainly, I think every single member of this caucus is in agreement that we definitely want to do something. but we need to have that language that, just like Alder Edwards stated, we need to have that fine print so that we can be able to say, hey, this is the criteria, this is the prerequisites, this is who qualifies, and now let's approach that conversation as, if this person qualifies, what is the background, what is the information? Going back to Alder Rodriguez's comment, we need a little bit more info. I just wanted to be in unison with that.
I understand that. That's why I invited him. But I don't think is anything wrong just to, to share my thoughts with you all. So I understand exactly what you're saying. Alderman Gay.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I don't know, man. It's been a long day for me, but I mean, I could have. You prefaced the conversation in reference to that he's supposed to be coming at 7 o'clock, but he's not here yet.
It was a short notice. But he's trying to come to us.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I asked him today.
Oh, okay. So he potentially may come to give us some insight on the program.
Yeah, yes, that I want to know. Yes.
Oh, okay. All right. I just wanted to make. It's been a long day for me. I've been on Zoom for a lot of hours.
It was a late notice.
I just wanted to make sure that I heard you say that there is an opportunity for people to find out what the program is.
Right.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
All right. Thank you, Madam Chair.
But yes, and I'm just saying that regulation should not have been there on this money for this help. That's all I'm saying for me. So we will move on. We have finished now all of our, and if he come on, then we will stop wherever we are and let him speak to us about the council program. We're going to go down to old business because we want to go back and to discuss our gala. Alder Morrison.
Hello. I'm sorry, Madam Chair. I've been Zooming all day. So I was just trying to throw something down my throat, some food. So in regards to the gala, myself and Alder Edwards, we met. And so there's two things that we have to do tonight. As Al sent out the email in regards to the gala, we have to look at two things. One, agreeing to change the venue and the date, but there's no specifics around either one. And two, look at the honorees. And I don't know if Al, if you're there, I don't know if Al sent that email. I didn't see it in regards to the.
Yeah,
he did. Okay, I didn't see it. I've been on meetings all day. So if you, okay, good. Oh, thank you.
He put it up for everybody to see it.
Okay. So, I mean, this is the email. And so I had wanted Al to send this out earlier to give everyone an opportunity to look and to somehow we have to streamline this to kind of identify our awardees, our honorees. Couple of things. One is that we always have 6 honorees. Right? Once in a while, we have a special something that happens, but we have 6 honorees. And I know initially I was talking like, oh, this is the 10th year, this is the 10th, 10 honorees and all of that. But then I was talking to other alders and they were really bringing back to me the whole essence of this gala and this recognition. This is like the Oscars, right? The best of the best is selected. And so everybody can't get it. And so we want to be very, mindful when we're looking at our selection, because we always have to have one entity. We always have to have a Board of Ed person, and our Board of Ed person always provides us with that information, that name. And then it kind of leaves us with four other honorees. And so I don't have the other sheet in front of me. Al, I don't know if you can do a double thing or if you can only put the one. But in regards to the different kind of honorees that we had, I know that we had our leadership award, we had our community services award, our pioneer award, our heritage award. Those are the awards that we had. We also had our mentorship award and advocacy award. Those are the 6 awards that we had in 2019, our last gala. So, Kim, what would you recommend as the best process for this? And as I mentioned, myself and Alder Edwards, we met, and the two of us, we're going to be working together and working with the office around whatever it is that we do around this gala. But the first line of business is to select our honorees, because that's a process in itself, because we might select someone that doesn't want to honor. And then we have to go back to the drawing board to see, okay, who was a runner-up or something like that. So Kim, what do you suggest we do? Do we just go down the list under each, like Alder Douglas, and then on down the list, and then kind of come up with a possible in each group? I don't know.
I personally think it's important that people not just see a name and vote on it, but to get a blurb about that person or a paragraph about why you nominated that person.
Right.
To me, that would seal the deal more than anything.
Right.
I would question this. We have this list before us today. But as far as voting, are you wanting to vote today on this?
Yeah, and that was the whole purpose of telling y'all last month, asking everybody to send in their names, asking Al to put the names together and sending out the list.
Okay, so if you are going to
and everyone was also told in the last email communication to be prepared to give a blurb about the people that you nominated. I'm going to say I have this long list, but this is just people that just came to mind. So like I wouldn't go through every last person in my particular list, unless there were ones that someone wanted.
I would propose that whoever submitted names tell a blurb about why they want their person selected.
Okay.
And I would say if they are doing the process elimination in their own head before us tonight, that they speak on the main ones they want. Then if they are now hesitant about submitting certain names, I will give them that opportunity as well. But I do think it's important that we hear why these people were selected.
Okay.
Or nominated.
So that's good. We'll start with Alder Douglas. You submitted 4 names. Alder Douglas.
Yes, yeah. So the first name was Mr. Jim Barber. I mean, I believe that the names that I chose, their work speaks for itself. I mean, when you say you want a blurb, what do you want me to give some history of what I know about them?
Yeah, why do you think?
I'm sorry.
You already have it on the site, Alder. I see it.
Absolutely.
Everyone doesn't know what their devotional or leadership in the community is. Some of us are old school. Everyone is not from every community. All right,
so okay, I'll give a little history on Jim Barber. Jim Barber was the director of athletics at Southern Connecticut State University for many years. He was a coach there for about 25 years. And from what I know, he has been a very important part of the New Haven Scholarship Fund. He has been in the process of thousands of scholarships given out to our children in New Haven, in this community. And he also, as I know, he's been very active with Southern Connecticut State College as far as producing numbers of teachers in the community and throughout the state and what have you. I mean, there's so much more that I could add to that. I think everybody knows Jim Barber, and that's what I'm going to say about him.
Okay.
And as far as Diane Brown, again, I think everybody knows Diane Brown. She's been a librarian at Stetson Library for many years. She's received many awards, national awards for the work that she's done in New Haven, period. I believe she's probably the strongest part of the Stetson Library. I mean, Stetson Library was about to die years ago, but she brought it back to life. And just the work that she does in the community goes beyond speaking of. I'm sure everybody knows. And then Marissa Bond, of course. Marissa came in from Bridgeport, and she's done a phenomenal job with our Department of Health, especially during this COVID time. I mean, jumping into a new position and then being faced with this catastrophe of this pandemic. I mean, it goes beyond saying. And then Mr. Lucas, everybody knows Mr. Lucas and the work that he's done. There's no words. There's no words that can be summed up. He helps us all every day of his life. So, those are my four.
Thank you. So Kim, Alder Edwards, I guess as people are going through the best way to go through this process, as people are going through their names, if there are names or that resonate with you, I guess each person could just write down the names that they're interested in. And then once we finish the list, then we can go back to see what it is that we have, because we might have matches. And so Alder Ortiz, is she on the line?
I don't see her here.
Okay.
I don't see her.
If she's not on the line, then we're going to need to, we'll pass her and then go down to Alder Edwards, and then we can come back to her names.
Thank you, everyone. How are you all tonight?
Good.
You doing good? Okay. Well, I nominated a former alder, but my mother as well. I didn't know if I should because I was related to her, but I decided to do so based on what I see. So I'm gonna ask you, why not her? Before she had a title as an alderwoman, an alder, or anything else, she was a community leader. And it was before we had New Haven Independent, Facebook, and all that good stuff. She organized community cleanups. Even when she lived in public housing, she organized bus trips, and she's a strong advocate. She had a mini soup kitchen that she partnered up with one of the soup kitchens in the area when she saw people had a need for it. So that was housed out of our kitchen. And of course I was younger, so I was like, well, I got to pass this food out. I didn't know any better then. She was on tenant council. She was one of the neighborhood mothers that helped people and made sure they got in CETA applications. Back then, that was Youth at Work. She created a Girl Scout troop at Lincoln Bassett School because we didn't have one. So I was able to become a brownie. She wanted to make sure the girls in the area had something to do. So her and my godmother rolled their sleeves up and did that. She used to argue with Dr. Dow and all the other superintendents. She got us school buses. So us that lived at the top of the hill on Division didn't have to walk all the way to Jackie Robinson School and risk getting hit by cars, cut up, kidnapped. She was an avid PTA and PTSO mother. And she was phenomenal in getting people to register to vote. And that was before she wasn't elected. That was before she was on town committee. And she's an awesome puller of votes, I will say that. And she was a co-chair. And she's just always been involved in every aspect of the neighborhood. And like I said, that was before she became an alder. So that is why I nominated her, because she's a strong advocate. And as bad as her mouth is, she does know how to pull people together. And I saw it happen when I was in need, and I looked outside and looked inside and saw a community. And when I say community, people from all walks of life and all over come together and support. So that is why I nominated Alfreda J. Edwards. Thank you.
Okay, we're gonna stop there and we'll come back because I see that Mr. Mike Presvelli have joined us. And we thank him for his time. So we're gonna stop and we're going to have Mr. Mike Presvelli talk with us. Thank you for coming, Mr. Vitale, Mike Presvelli. And the reason why I asked you to come tonight is so you share with us about the council program. The regulation.
Can you hear me okay? I'm so sorry. I'm in my car, so I hope you can hear me okay.
Yes.
Okay.
We can hear you.
Thank you for the time. In part, it's a really good moment to talk about both Castle and the new state program, which is called Unite CT. As you know, there's a push now to extend the moratorium for renters and the eviction moratorium to the third week of June. So that's a big target date on our calendar, in part because there are significant resources available, both our local resources through Castle, which the board approved last year, and now a substantial supplement coming out of the Department of Health. So between those two programs, renters in need of assistance have access to both our money, up to $8,000, and then the state's money. And that can be pooled together to truly help a renter working out with their landlord, you know, if they're in arrears due to the pandemic. And it is very specific due to the pandemic. We have postcards and there's an outreach schedule. So I could either leave more postcards in your boxes, or if you'd like us, we can actually drop them off at your house. And the reason why, you know, if we want to get them out to your house, just to get them out to constituents, is the Department of Housing has bought a van and they're doing a number of outreach meetings. So let's say you don't have access to, you know, the application form is significantly difficult. I mean, there's so many pages to it. You've really got to put a lot of disclosure to it. The outreach van has people that will help you fill out the application and kind of keep the process moving, if you will, particularly now that June 20th is going to be right around the block.
Okay. When do we get this outreach in?
So what I can do after this, you know, sometime tomorrow, I'll put together one clean email for the alders that sort of summarizes what we have through Castle, what we have through the state program, and then the extra, you know, let's say for instance, so you do all the things for the rent, but you still have a UI bill or a WPCA bill. The Financial Empowerment Center is helping people with the consumer counseling piece. So I'll give that to you in one email with some postcards. You know, we can drop them off if people want them to drop them off the house, or we'll just leave them in your box downstairs. And then there's a schedule where the van's going to be.
Okay. Any of my colleagues have any questions for Mr. Presbytelli? Okay. Alder Wingate. Yes, Alder Wingate, I acknowledge.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Thank you for coming tonight, Michael. Please be safe as you drive. You say you're going to give the information out. Is it going to give us in detail of the actual criteria of the program requirements to receive the partnership money? And one more other question, because that's one question. And the second question is, did you say the city purchased a van? Did you say that?
So the
The
van,
outreach.
yeah, no problem. First of all, I pulled over. I wouldn't drive with the phone. I wouldn't know how.
Okay.
But the van was purchased by the Department of Housing.
Mhm.
And then there are a number of local partners like the Urban League, Neighborhood Housing Services. So they have trained counselors. We have 3 people in LCI working on these applications. And then we have the trained counselors through Urban League and NHS. The van is branded with the state's program. So you'll see it as like the Unite CT van or something like that.
Thank you. But the question still remains in reference to the criteria of receiving the money. Will that be a part of? I understand that there's outreach, but there's another part of what is the requirements of receiving this money.
Yeah, I'll put that in the email so you've got a clarity of the requirements. Generally, just to generalize for this conversation, it's arrears that happened post-pandemic, so post, say, March of 2020. So
Okay.
that's sort of how you look at it. It's, if it's anything that's pre-pandemic, it's a little bit harder to deal with.
Okay.
But once we get, a real relationship with the landlord and the tenant to work it out, these have been pretty successful. We've moved, you approved $800,000 for Castle.
Yep.
We've moved $100,000 so far. So we've got a good amount of money still to go to help people.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Okay. Anyone else? Alder Carmen Rodriguez.
Thank you, Madam Chair. To add to Alder Wingate's question, we also need to know to be specific, what excludes an individual from not being able to apply from any of this funding. So definitely we want to see the full criteria, but what may keep someone from not being eligible? Thank you so much, Madam Chair.
So I don't have the exact program criteria in front of me, but the most important one is to be in good standing at the point the pandemic started. Being in good standing generally is very, very important. There's a significant effort on the part of both our side and the state side to qualify people. So I had someone pull some numbers. We had 5 didn't qualify because they moved. 22 didn't qualify because they could not demonstrate income disruption, meaning they had, they were basically working right through the pandemic, so there was no income disruption. We had 5 that were related to taxes. Maybe they owed taxes here or there. That might have been something that needs to be worked out first. That'll give you a sense as to some of the reasons why someone might not be eligible.
Thank you so much, Madam Chair. Thank you so much, Mike, for that clarification on that info. Thank you.
Anyone else? If not, Mike, I feel like owing taxes should not be one of the things in this criteria for someone not to help, because we're really not helping the people who really need it. That's how I feel about it. And then you said in good standing. What is good standing? That all the things just named?
So there maybe if there's an eviction proceeding or something, a notice to quit pre-pandemic, something like that could be problematic.
Oh, yeah.
On the taxes, that's come up a couple of times now, and it relates to the citywide rules so if you owe taxes on anything citywide, a grant, parking permits, permits generally, there's a flag in our system that if you owe taxes that nothing else can move. But we're certainly worth having the conversation if people are in arrears on taxes and haven't, had a chance to really work with the tax office on what that is. So it's just a separate process. It's a flag on our system.
Okay. Well, all right. For your system, I just feel like that shouldn't be at this time because of pandemic and people really need help. All right. So if there's no more questions. We'll thank you for coming. And we thank you. And thank you for getting the information to us through Al.
Thank you all so much. Have a very nice night. Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, bye-bye now.
Thank you, Mr. Piscitelli.
Okay, Alder Morrison, back to you, or
So,
Alder Edwards.
So, Madam Chair, it's 7:30 and that list is long. And so
Okay.
it's not gonna happen tonight. And if it don't happen tonight,
Okay.
I know for me, Jeanette, Alder Morrison, I'm not gonna have enough time to do what it is that I do. And I feel like there's just a lot of constraints around trying to have this. So what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna bow out from it. And if Alder Edwards or in the fundraising committee wants to take this on or do something smaller, because we're just not gonna have enough time. And this is a very, very important event. This isn't something that can just be thrown together. And I feel as though that we're not dancing together anymore. Maybe that year off kind of threw us off beat. And so now it's just, I mean, it's 7:30 and I really thought that we were gonna commit this meeting to gala because of the fact that we are butting against our regular time frame. So so I'm just gonna say that. And then, you know, as chair, you guys can figure out what it is that you want to do. But I know that the way that I have to do things, and maybe I'm just old, it takes me time. And there's things that have to be done. And, you know, it's just like that concept of the sausage. Sometimes you don't know how the sausage is made. All you know is that it's there. And for the last, you know, almost 10 years, the sausage was just there. So I'm just I'll hand this over to Alder Edwards. She has her hand up, but that's what I want.
Okay, she had her hand up, but Alder Douglas had his hand up as well. Alder Frank Douglas.
I'm sorry. I didn't put my hand down from before. I'm sorry. I'm good.
Oh, okay. Then Alder Edwards.
Thank you, Madam Chair.
Alder Edwards?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yes.
I got a big mouth. Okay, so my ask is, Alder Morrison, how many names do we have left to go through?
A lot.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 6.
Because I would say we can quickly go through the other names for the alders that are present.
Yes.
Some look like they're duplicate names to me so that we can get this vote done and to you tonight. So you can keep rolling. And I am willing to provide any assistance at all that you need with helping to get this facilitated and done.
You know, the bottom line is, like a lot of, you know, and thank you, Alder. Everyone talks about help, help, help. The only thing, like I always say, it's about the systematic things that need to be done. See, I think with COVID and us getting off of our regular schedule, it added another layer to it, but we really need these names. And so it's just, I don't have it no more. I don't have it in me no more, because it just seems like it's a fight. I feel like I'm fighting, and I don't want that. I want, this is supposed to be, I love planning. I love doing these things. This is supposed to be happy and joyous, because we have these great people that we're looking to honor, and we have this money that we're trying to bring in to be able to really help our community without the red tape. And that's the thing that gives me my drive, but I don't have it no more. I got to just be honest.
Okay. I know we are going to, I know the leadership, we're going to be meeting again tonight. Correct, President?
Thursday.
I think we have another meeting.
Say that again.
After this. Some of us have another meeting at this.
Leadership?
So are we meeting after this tonight?
No.
tomorrow.
Oh, okay.
Yes, committee.
Okay. All right, then let's, well, if everyone is willing to, the others that did give names, do you want to get through it? Alder Wingate, he has his hand up. Yes, Alder?
Yeah, thank you, Madam
I
Chair.
can't hear you.
Yeah, I had to get off mute. Thank you, Madam Chair. In reference to the task at hand, maybe we should do exactly what we talked about at the very beginning, is pick out the one that you think is best suited for the potential Oscar that we will be giving out, to opposed to going down your whole entire list. Okay. For the actual time, because it's in reference to the time for tonight. Okay. Perhaps we do that. And if you have a burning situation of two people, you talk about your two candidates, right? Because there's only so many we can give out. So just in the spirit of time, let's go down the list in that particular way. At least get that done tonight.
I second the motion.
Okay. Okay. All right. Well, I'm next, and I chose Ms. Jeffrey Frazier. I chose her because she was a principal here in our schools, also a teacher for many years who helped our children be educated. She helped them travel, took them to our Black colleges. She also has received many awards across the states as well. But she has really loved the children. She started also uniforms for the kids here in New Haven. So that's why I chose her. I'm just taking one so we can get through. Okay, Alden Morrison is next for hers.
So I threw out a list of people, and I do have an organization, and I know that Alder Wingate suggested that we identify the one, but I'm going to identify a couple.
I said two.
Because
I did say two. Madam Chair, through the chair, I said two.
All right, no problem. So in regards to an organization, I noted Phi Beta Sigma fraternity. And the reason why I noted them, their New Haven chapter, is because throughout this pandemic, they have fed the community throughout the city, literally taking names in various wards. I know my ward had benefited, taking names of like 20 and 40 and 60 families and literally going grocery shopping and bringing the food to the people. And I really thought that, that's what represents real community service. And so, and they do so many different things, but that was the one thing that really stuck in my mind, because the pandemic is something that we've never seen before. And to see people and to see organizations jump out there and really grassroots and get help to feed people, I really thought that was something to be recognized. I also wanted to point out, from a state perspective, I did list my commissioner, Vanessa Durantes. She is the commissioner for the state of Connecticut Department of Children and Families. And under her tenure, she has really made a push, made Black children a priority, and to understand the why the discrepancy of numbers of how high Black children are involved in DCF, and then just ensuring that their needs are met, and not just not from a perspective of just, I would say, cookie cutter, but really looking at Black children and for who they are. And this is the first time, and I've worked at the department for 28 years, this is the first time that I've ever seen anyone in leadership take such a bold stance to ensure that, you know, that racial justice is taken into consideration when doing child protection work, along with looking specifically at Black children. And so that's kind of my two, and I'm just going to put out there Rosa DeLauro, and I don't need to go into my reasons for Rosa DeLauro. She, everyone, like I would say, like Alder Douglas, everyone knows Rosa DeLauro, so that's it.
All right. Our president Myers.
Yep. So I can narrow it down to two people. I picked the McLaren Funeral Home because they have dealt during this pandemic with almost every person that passed away and that had COVID, and they didn't turn anyone away. They figured it out. They jumped in with the community. And they didn't say no, and they worked with people all throughout the whole entire pandemic. And I think that's really important, because when people didn't really understand what was going on with COVID, they went and found out about it, and they didn't tell people no. And I think in times when people lose people, especially to something like a pandemic, that made a huge impact in our community. So that's why I picked him. And I also picked Charles Brewer because he opened up his church to those same families so that they could have services. He was feeding the community multiple times out of the month without asking anybody for donations or anything. He was just doing it out of the kindness of his heart. And I think those type of things that happen when nobody else is looking is really important. So that's why I chose those two. I also chose people that was already honored, so they're automatically off the list. Yeah, and I think those things are really important. I think we should highlight people that don't just do things for the spotlight, but actually do the work all the time in the community. It's not the first time that Charles Brewer opened up his church. He even opened up his church to anybody that want to have community events, that want to have community conversations. And, you know, he opened up his church because that is truly a community space that people can utilize if they need to. So that is why I chose those two. Thank you.
All right. And Alder Hakeem, he is not here. So Alder Smith, he is here.
Thank you, Madam Chair.
Alder Smith?
Yes, thank you, Madam Chair. What can you say about our former mayor? I mean, even
Alder,
now,
I'm sorry, Madam Chair, it's noted on the agenda she was previously honored.
I'm sorry, I didn't know. I'm new to
It
this.
was somewhere else too. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Okay, well, we see that there was someone else previously honored. Let's hear about our mayor. I know she was previously. Did you know she was previously honored, Alder?
No, I didn't. But that's fine.
Smith?
No, I didn't, but that's fine. If she was previously honored, then she doesn't need to be honored again. I didn't know. So I mean, they have a lot of great nominees up here that should be honored if they haven't been honored. But no, I don't believe in doing it over and over again once someone received their flowers for the same event that's going on. So thank you, Alders, for letting me know. I do appreciate it.
Madam Chair, this is Alder Singh, if I may.
Yes, Alder Singh.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I had listed under Alder Morrison. I just listed one name. It's on the community nomination. And I had nominated Mr. Johnny Dye from my neighborhood in Ward 5. he has been a true community leader. He spent most of his life organizing with the Democratic Party, being a co-chair, being a president of the management team, and still continues to be a co-chair and still participate in the community. And he did a lot, for the Hill here. He truly did. So I'm, nominating him to honor it as a community member.
Okay. All right. Okay, so we have our nominees, and we can only do 4 persons, and is it one entity?
It's
Morrison?
four individuals, one organization or business or like that. And then I will let everyone know what the Board of Ed has given.
Okay. All right, so so how are we gonna proceed with it? Are we gonna vote on?
So it looks like so I guess we would look at, I see Alder Edwards has her hand up. I don't know if that was from before, but it looks like the people that have been identified, I mean, before we set the two-person rule, I know that Alder Douglas had presented all 4 of his people, and then Alder Ortiz isn't here to present her people. Alder Edwards presented Alder Alfreda Edwards. I presented Phi Beta Sigma fraternity and DCF Commissioner Vanessa Durantes.
Okay, and I did, okay. For the person, I did Jeffrey Frazier, so how we gonna vote on it?
Where's your name? I didn't see, I'm sorry, I'm just looking at this list.
It's right under Alder Edwards, so we, it's right
Edwards.
there. It's
Okay,
under her
I'm sorry,
19.
Okay, so, oh, it's small, I'm sorry. And you nominated Jeffrey Frazier. And then, and what did I say? And the Sigmas. And then President Walker Myers nominated McClam Funeral Home and Charles Chucky Brewer. Okay. All right. And then so what I have to Barbara, Diane Brown, Marissa Bond.
It's supposed to be only 2, we said, remember?
But in all fairness to Alder Douglas, he didn't know the 2 rule until after he gave his presentation. So he went over all 4. So unless Alder Douglas, can you just select 2 of your 4 that you went over?
Absolutely. I would still keep Mr. Jim Barber at the top of my list. And I think for the second one, thinking about who's going to pull in the dollars, I would say Diane Brown.
Okay. All right.
Okay.
Okay.
If I may make a motion,
Yes.
if we take, since we're all on Zoom, we can take and mention all of the names, and each person mentions who they would want in terms of the individuals, the honorees, and also the organizations. and you write them down, and the one that has the most, we consider those individuals. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Okay. Yes, so we'll mention the names from each alder who was here. So we have Mr. Barbara and Diane Brown. So out of the two, okay, so it would be Mr. Barbara or Diane Brown, or Jeffrey Frazier. We just naming them all now.
Madam Chair, I'm a little confused. I don't know how are you doing this? Because we have
Alder Rodriguez just said name the names. We should name the names of the, and then let's vote from that.
Right. So you say the name, and then each person who wants that, we'll have Al take down the screen. Each person that wants that person can put up their hand sign, right?
Madam
Okay.
Chair,
All right.
Something so we can
suggest-
see.
Yes,
Madam Chair, to make it easier, I'm suggesting we have the names of the individuals. If you can just reread them clearly that they are candidates, then each of us will tell you which ones we would like, each of us individually, instead of everybody putting their hands up. Each of us goes through the list and tells you who it is that we want. For example, if you mention all the names, then I can tell you who I want.
Okay. Now, okay, well, we're working on the person right now, right?
Madam Chair?
Morrison, we're working on the
Madam Chair, this is Alder Rodriguez.
Yes.
You have Alder President Walker Myers with her hand up, and also.
Oh,
Alder,
I didn't see it because of the screen. I didn't see
so
it.
what I'll do is I'll keep an eye on the hands so we don't miss anybody.
Okay, yes, present.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I mean, I want to make this as easy as possible and not overcomplicate it. Why can't we just have Al Lucas compose the list that we just came up to? People have to get back to him. It's easy for him to tally it up and tell us what the results are. Because if we try to do it this way, people will get confused. You're going to go through one name, people are going to raise the hand. It's just much cleaner and easier. The same way people sent their nominees to Al Lucas, why can't we just have him do the tally and all of that? So you have a list of individuals, the ones that Alder Morrison already named. We have that on one side. These are the list of individuals. Please choose who you pick from that. These are the list of organizations. Please choose. Alder Morrison is going to get back to us about the Board of Ed, I believe she said, because, you know, they do their own thing, which is fine. And then the caucus will know exactly what we chose from tonight. It's just easier because I think it's going to get extra confusing if people try to raise their hands and do whatever it is they're doing.
Okay. All right, then I'll give the list to Al for the people and the organizations.
And Madam Chair, if I may, Madam Chair, this is Alder Rodriguez. Just to be clear, the list that's going in today is the final list. Is that correct?
That's right. It's the final list that we chose. Each person chose 2 people.
Thank you.
Okay, so now there's no more business.
Madam Chair, my apologies, Alder.
Alder Kim Edwards.
So thank you, Madam Chair.
You were telling me about her.
So just for clarification, can we announce the names aloud to make sure our list is complete? Can we just re-verify the names we all selected and agreed on as the final list, just so there's no mistakes, there's no surprises when that email goes out? I think it's also important, I think that is an easier way to do it, as President Walker Myers suggested. We also need to make sure we're clear. Are we getting this information back into him tonight? Are we getting it back into him tomorrow? I think it's clear so we know that. And after that is done. and we get the final tally.
Okay.
But I just think for process and procedure and just for clarity, we need to make sure we all have the correct names that are going to be submitted to Mr. Lucas to send out.
Right. Okay, did you say, did you write down the names? It's Mr. Barbara, Diane Brown, that chose from Alder Douglas list, Alder Morrison. You chose your mom, Alder Edwards, Alfreda Edwards. I chose Jeffrey Frazier. Alder Morrison chose Mr. Johnny. I'm sorry, that was Singh. Alder Singh chose Mr. Johnny Dye. Alder Morrison chose Vanessa Danteus, and she chose also Bettine, Phil Bettine, for her organization, right? How you say that, Alder Morrison?
Phi Beta Sigma Fraternity.
Phi Beta. So those are hers. And then
I would like to take them off.
Why? Who you want to take off?
Because I would like to take them off and replace them with someone, because I really think Director Marissa Bond needs to go on that list. And when Alder Douglas had Marissa Bond on his list, I was like, oh, good, I like that person. And so out of my people, if I had to take someone, I would rather replace Director Bond with Phi Beta Sigma, because
okay, all right.
Yes.
So that's Director Bonds. So you have Vanessa and Director Bonds. Okay, and then our president chose McClan Family Funeral Home, and she chose Mr. Chucky Brewer, Charles Chucky Brewer, and then that's it.
Alder.
That's the list. Alder Edwards have her hand.
Yes.
I just had y'all call me. You said that Alder Singh had a submission. Was he on the official list or no?
Well, I heard him say tonight that he want Mr. Johnny Dye.
I'm asking if his submission was his. He may have, but my question was, when looking at that list, was his submitted previously on the official list? It was
on this list. I don't see him, but he did. He was under Morrison, so he said. So
so is that in a? Does Mr. Dye stay there because he wasn't officially? When Alder Morrison.
Well, he wasn't officially, but he did say he wanted to choose that person. He's here tonight to say it.
No, we had to submit by May 7th.
List.
No, my point is we were supposed to submit by a certain date, and I just want to follow protocol, because if that's the case, anybody can say right now, well, I want to submit from a next door neighbor.
Okay, all right.
I'm just trying to get.
Okay, then we have the two people that Alder Morrison said, and then we're done. Okay, so we will take that off. All right. Okay, so now we don't have any other business. Our next meeting, June the 9th, 2021, and can have a motion to adjourn. I make a motion to adjourn.
So move.
All in favor?
Aye. Never get a second. Who?
Second.
Get a second.
Second. Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
All right. So we're adjourned. All right, thank you all. And Al will have this. We are adjourned. Okay. I don't even know. Turn it off. All right. Thank you.
You're welcome.
All right, my friend.
All right.
How are you, my friend?
Wingate.
How you doing, my friend? How are you?
Good, and you? I'm
Oh,
telling you,
Lord have mercy.
Wingate, that last name of yours,
Huh?
that last name of yours,
Oh, man.
love it.
Thank you so much.
Always love you, Brian.
Love you too.